in light of that and all the things that Miss Betty told you, today I want to talk about hope. But before we begin, I want to start with asking, what is hope? Right? So we want to define that in the beginning. So hope is being able to see that there is light despite all the darkness, right? It is that stubborn thing inside us that insists, despite all evidence to the contrary, that something better awaits us as long as we have courage to keep reaching, to keep working, and to keep fighting. To some of you, that was probably very familiar because it's the words of our former president, Barack Obama. But it is one thing to give the definition of hope, right? However, for most of you that are here at Berkeley High and graduating, it's also another thing to implement it in your lives, in your daily activity. Like, why is this hope thing so important? And why should I care? Right? So, as many of you, just like myself, I am a woman of color, right? Zicta says that as a black woman like myself, I should not be where I am today, right? The overwhelming societal evidence shows that it is impossible for a black woman, let alone a single parent, to pursue academia and succeed in it, right? So in my journey in high school to college, I've had many people tell me what I can and cannot do. And some of them may be the closest to you, family members and relatives that just can't see beyond what you can see in your own vision, right? But today, I'd like to share with you, let me back up a little bit. Sometimes, in those moments when there's no one believing in you, sometimes there were times when I wanted to agree with that and allow the fear of failure to consume me. But today, I want to share with you specifically a story of hope, right? And how I use that to overcome the odds. So, as I mentioned before, people will tell you what you can and cannot do. And rightfully so. There's been many times in my life where I've thought about quitting, right? And in my darkest moment, when I was vulnerable to it, I felt defeated before. And I wanted to cave in, right? And just as Miss Betty told you, the story all began really when I immigrated to the United States at the age of 14 years old. This was my first struggle, right? How was I supposed to learn a new language and assimilate